Hey guys, this is Mr. Lips, and this video is intended to help you color correct and adjust the image size of your artwork for submission to the Scholastic Art Awards, but also for use in digital portfolios that you might submit to colleges or other sorts of art competitions. So I've opened up this image I created. This is a print I made, clearly a self-portrait. I thought you might like to see my face and not just my disembodied voice here. I laid this print on my dining room table, and I took this photo with my cell phone. Not the recommended way to take a professional quality photo, but it looks okay, and I figure a lot of you guys will probably take photos under less than ideal conditions as well. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, since I can see some of my dining room table here, I'm going to go ahead and crop this image. All right, by the way, I'm using Adobe Photoshop's Creative Cloud 2015.5. We have this version of Adobe Photoshop on all the computers in Centennial Hall at the time of the making of this video. Perhaps you have a version of Adobe Photoshop on your home computer. It could be newer, older. Really, they will all do the same things, although the controls may look slightly differently. So if what I'm telling you doesn't make sense when you look at your version of Photoshop, just go ahead and go to Google or YouTube. You can find tutorials for all this stuff. Also, there are countless ways to edit a photo and make it look better. I'm going to show you one way that I think is really simple that will work for most images. If you know another way, by all means use it. This is just one. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is crop this image because I don't really want Scholastic seeing my dining room table here. All right, this is my crop tool here. You can see these little brackets come up, and you can just sort of pull these guys in and crop it to wherever you like, and then you press enter. All right, nice and cropped. Still a little bit of wood there. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Sometimes minute adjustments with the crop tool don't work very well. Yeah, it seems like if I try and crop that, I'm going to get rid of my little signature stamp down here, and I want that in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept that little sliver of wood. All right, next thing I want to do is I'm going to go up to Image and see the size of my image, right? Because Scholastic has specific size requirements for the files you can submit to them. All right, so you get this image dialog box. You'll get some sort of preview of your image here. Here, we'll shrink that down just so we can see it. First thing I want to do is I'm going to go over here to resolution. All right, so resolution is 72. Scholastic requires a 300 resolution, okay? So I'm going to change that to 300. All right. And now we can see here that the height is 43 inches and the width is 32 inches. Scholastic also requires that no measurement be more than 10 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and change the height to 10 inches. Now I have a 10 by 7 inches at 300 dpi. That's pretty ideal. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. All right, next thing I'm going to do is just kind of look at the image and compare it to the actual artwork. A lot of times, especially when you have a lot of white in the image, that white might appear somewhat bluish or somewhat pinkish, depending on your lighting conditions, or there could be some other issues going on. All right, this one actually looks okay to me. Perhaps it's just slightly pink due to the lighting in my dining room. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try auto color. Okay, so I'm going up to Image, Auto Color. Now these auto controls sometimes work well, other times not so much. So the key here is to always look at what's happening to your image. All right, auto might work, but you can't just rely on it. All right, so let's see what happens if I click Auto Color. Seems like it made my image a little bit better. To double check that, I'm going to go up to Window, History. So that brings up a kind of record of all the steps I've done to my image so far. And you can see here I changed the image size and then I did auto color. I'm going to click on image size, and that will undo my auto color. And I just want to kind of toggle back and forth and see how they look. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that auto color. It seems like it's making my image a little bit cool. I feel like the original coloration was actually closer to reality. So trust your eyes in this process. I'm not gonna redo that auto color. I'm just gonna let it be the way it is. Close that back down. Whoops. Bah. Sometimes crazy things happen. There we go. Next thing you can try, a few other ones you might try. There is auto contrast. You can try that. See what happens. Once again, we go back and forth. Yeah, I kind of like that auto contrast. Let me go ahead and keep it. All right. I'll kind of dock this over here. Next thing I'm going to try here is levels. Okay, so we go over to adjustments, to levels, and it's going to bring up this crazy thing that looks like almost like a mountainous landscape. All right, and you have these various sliders here, and as long as you have preview clicked on here, you can see, you can change these. So these various sliders represent the light tones, the mid tones, and the dark tones of your image. Okay, I don't think there's anything to do here, but sometimes pulling in the light tone a little bit and then pulling in the black or the dark tone slider a little bit can improve the image. But once again, you need to use your own judgment. I kind of like my image the way it is, so I'm not going to do anything in this case. I kind of got lucky with my photograph, considering how poorly I set it up to take the photo. Anyways, I feel like I have a pretty good image here. I don't think there's anything I can do to make it closer to reality. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image, and then it'll be ready to submit to the Scholastic website. All right, so to save it, I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to call this Lips. Let's see, Lips, and this is a print, so I would be theoretically entering this under printmaking. We'll call it printmaking, and then I'll call it self-portrait. All right. Anyways, this is a good way to title your artworks for submission to Scholastic. Last name. If you want to put your first name or first initial in there, you can do that too. The category in which your work would be submitted, and then some sort of title or designation, so we know what the title refers to. You know, if I had multiple self-portraits, perhaps this would be black and white self-portrait, or some way to title it specifically that relates to the artwork. All right, so JPEG, that's a fine file format for submission to Scholastic. I'm going to go ahead and just save it to my desktop and save. Okay, what should pop up is a kind of JPEG options box. If your quality is not all the way at 12, the maximum, go ahead and slide it down there. Sometimes it seems like it sort of starts out about there. I like to have it all the way at 12. And that is all. You shouldn't need to mess with this at all. Click OK, and you are good to go. All right, that is really it in terms of basic image editing for submission to the Scholastic Art Awards. The main thing to remember is look at your image, look at your digital image of your artwork, and see the ways in which it doesn't resemble your actual artwork. Does it seem too pink? Does it seem too blue? Is the contrast too reduced? This kind of thing. And then you can use the controls I showed you to get it closer to the way the actual artwork looks, because that's what you want to present to the judges. The actual artwork, an image that is faithful to the real thing. All right, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, come to me or any of the other upper school art teachers. All right, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.